What's up, guys? So today we're breaking down Chapter 5 of the Book of the Mandalorian. The Book of Din Djarin. The Book of Boba Fett. Obviously, if you haven't watched the episode, spoiler alert. This is all going to be spoilers because it's a breakdown of the episode. All the crazy lore, all the crazy Easter eggs, all the crazy Din Djarin with the Darksaber. It goes nuts. So let's get right into all of it right now. So the episode opens with a butcher shop, and Din Djarin walks in, and you're like, oh my god, the Mandalorian is back. But I was looking on his hilt, and I was like, where's the Darksaber at? I see the Beskar spear on your back, I see the jetpack still there, and your sick-ass armor still there, but where is the Darksaber? Did you just hand it to Bo-Katan? Come on. He didn't. He goes in, just walks through the butcher shop, goes to the office, if there even is one in a butcher shop, and he's like, I'm here for a bounty. And the guy's like, oh, I haven't seen this guy. And he puts down his literal face, and he's like, it doesn't look like me. And then Mando's like, you can either come in warm, or you can come in cold. And he puts his hand on his holster, and you're like, oh my god. And then he's like, well, you're surrounded. And then he gets attacked, and he takes out the Darksaber. Epic. He kills all the people in the room, except for one guy who runs. But he kills the guy and literally chops him in half. Chops off his head, we don't see that, but he chops off his head, puts it in a bag, and you can see the blood dripping out of it. One of the darkest things Disney's done with Star Wars, but I loved it. And Din Djarin got really hurt. He hurt himself with the Darksaber. He clearly doesn't know what he's doing with it, and you can tell that it was really heavy for him just swinging it around. We don't know what's going on there yet. We'll get to that in a second. He leaves the butcher shop. Cue intro. Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 5, Return of the Mandalorian. Din Djarin himself with the Darksaber. After the intro, you see literally a Halo ring. If you're a Halo fan, you were like, oh, like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme, because it was literally a Halo ring. If you don't play Halo Infinite, great game, go play it, but it's just a ring and people can live on it, whatever. It's what Mando was on. It's a Halo ring. And he goes up to like a cantina scene type thing, and he says, here's your bounty, and he drops the head on, and he's like, give me my money and give me my info. They give him the money, but they don't give him the info. He's like, I got another job for you. And he's like, no, give me the info. Gives him the info, and he walks away, limping like crazy because his leg really hurts. He goes down to where they told him to go, near the heating docks or whatever it is, and he goes down, and he finds the armorer with Paz Vizsla. And we saw these two characters in Mando Season 1 when he was trying to leave Navarro, but he was getting stopped by Grief Karva, but that was a long time ago, so we don't talk about that. But most of the Mandalorians got wiped out. It's literally just the three of them left from that place in Navarro. Those are the only Mandalorians left from that sect. Mando's really hurt, and Paz Vizsla really like stitches him up or just like burns it up, whatever. And she says, what weapon did this to you? And he pulls out the Darksaber, and she explains the Darksaber. So to normies, it was a great episode for just the armorer explaining everything that goes on with Mandalorians. I'll definitely be making many videos to come about the Mandalorians and the Darksaber itself, but also what happened with Mandalore. We saw it get bombed. What a cool scene. The Empire just comes in and boom, nukes the whole place pretty much. Just boom, 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 bombs the whole thing. Probably the whole surface of Mandalore does not look anything like we remember it back in the Rebels episodes, or even the Clone Wars episodes with Obi-Wan and Satine and all of them. But she does explain why the Darksaber was made. It was made by a Jedi Mandalorian pre-Vizsla. And pre-Vizsla, obviously related to Paz Vizsla a long time ago, though. So he's a far descendant of the Vizsla clan, so he thinks that this is rightfully his Darksaber. Mando's trying to train with the armor, and it's way too heavy. This is a lot different from a regular lightsaber. This doesn't happen with a regular lightsaber. Jedi don't have this problem where it gets really heavy. The Darksaber is very different from a regular lightsaber. Obviously, it's the only Mandalorian Jedi that we know of, but he created this lightsaber made of Beskar steel, and if you aren't if you're fighting the Darksaber while you're fighting with the Darksaber, it's going to be heavy as balls. So Din Djarin's having a real tough time, and Paz Vizsla comes in and he's like, look, this is my Darksaber. I challenge you to a duel. And he's like, sure, whatevs. I'm Din Djarin. I can beat the crap out of you whenever I want. Didn't look too good for him from the start, but obviously Din Djarin comes out on top. And the armorer says, Paz, have you ever taken off your helmet? And he says, no, this is the way. She's like, Din, have you ever taken off your helmet? And we're all like, yes, many times he has taken off his helmet. And they stare at each other blankly, and he's like, yeah, I have. And he's like, please forgive me. And she's like, you can't. You can't. You're no longer a Mandalorian. So let's talk about this for a second. Not all Mandalorians keep their helmets on. We've seen Bo-Katan. We've seen Boba Fett. Boba Fett's different, but we've seen Jango Fett. We've seen so many Mandalorians that take off their helmets. But why are these people like, we can't take off our helmets or we'll die? It's because Mandalore had a huge civil war. There was people on the moon. There was people on the planet. There was a bunch of different sectors of Mandalorians, and they all kind of had different creeds. And just Din Djarin's has this one where this is the way. Don't take off your helmet. This is the way. Don't take it off. Don't do it. So we might see Din just never talk to the armor again because he kind of just dipped with the Darksaber. And he was like, bye-bye. So we might still see Bo-Katan, Din Djarin go take Mandalore back. But the way they explained how Bo-Katan got to rule with the Darksaber when Sabine and Rebels just handed it to her. A lot of people had problems with that. I'll definitely make a video on that. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you clearly didn't watch Rebels. And what are you wasting your time with watching me? Go watch Rebels. Come on. Then Mando has to get on public transport because his Razor Crest is still gone. So he has to take off all of his weapons and put them in a box. I thought he was going to get jumped on this thing because he lost all of his weapons, but that's not how they wanted to go with it. He ends up on Tatooine. And we find our favorite cargo hangar person, Peli Motto. She's with all of her droids still. Got R5, got the bad motivator with her. She's got it all, but she has a BD-1 droid. So BD-1 is from Jedi Fallen Order. If you haven't played Jedi Fallen Order, again, what are you wasting your time watching my videos? Go play Jedi Fallen Order. It is the latest Star Wars game from EA, and it is with Cal Kestis and his droid BD-1. And this is the first time we've seen a BD droid in live action, and it's awesome because is this BD-1 with just a paint job? Or is it another BD unit? Either or, it'll be pretty cool. We'll find out probably in Jedi Fallen Order 2 if it is BD-1, the real BD-1. But who knows? It was just cool to see a BD unit there. Mando shows up and he's like, Miss Moto, I think you have a ship for me. And she's like, yeah, haven't finished it yet, but it's an N1 starfighter from Naboo. Literally the same ship that little Annie, 9-year-old Annie in the Phantom Menace drove around in. Qui-Gon says, stay in that cockpit. And he says, okay. And then he takes off and destroys the Trade Federation by himself. Try spinning. That's a neat trick. It's one of those. It's that yellow and chrome starfighter. The N1 Naboo starfighter. So they get to work on fixing it up because Mando's like, I need a ship. All right? I need a ship. They replaced the droid spot where R2 was in the Phantom Menace with a spot for Grogu, clearly. And I can't wait for that to happen. But he takes it for a spin. It's mostly chrome now with a little bit of yellow, which is a sick look. Has a brand new engine on it. It can go faster than anything else because of all these cool modifications that they put on it, and they explained all of it. So if you're really nerdy and really love the lore and Easter eggs and stuff, you can watch that. But one Easter egg that is insane is when the Jawas show up with one piece specifically. It is the same piece that Han uses on the Death Star to stop the trash compactor from killing them. Also, when Mando takes this thing for a spin, he goes in the exact same route as the pod race in the Phantom Menace. If you didn't notice this, go back and watch the pod race in the Phantom Menace versus this episode because it's the exact same route. You can even see the blocked off shortcut that you use in the Lego game, or the blocked off shortcut that Annie uses in the Phantom Menace to get in front to win the race. It is so cool. Plus, you see a Womp Rat sleeping right there. Womp Rats are the things that Luke was shooting at. He's like, oh, that thing's the size of a Womp Rat. I used to hit those, whatever. Yeah, Womp Rat. We saw them. Cool. But then he goes up into space and he goes way too close to a public transport star cruiser, and he gets pulled over by the New Republic X-Wings. So we've seen these guys before in Mando Season 2 and Mando Season 1, and he's like, hey, your voice sounds familiar. He's like, no, I think you have me mistaken for somebody else. And he's like, no, I definitely know who you are. I'm just trying to piece everything together because they're trying to get rid of the Empire. The New Republic right now is just trying to get rid of the remnants of the Empire in the galaxy. That's pretty much their main goal. And Din's like, peace out, presses that button. He's like, pew! Doesn't go into hyperspace. No, he doesn't. He just has the fastest ship ever now. It's awesome. So he comes back down, lands, and he gets out. And she says, how was it? And he says, wizard. So that's only been said one other time in Star Wars. And it's when, again, a Phantom Menace callback is when Annie is with his little friend there, the little kid, and he says, "That is Wizard." Talk about a callback. Talk about all the callbacks to the prequels. After the sequel trilogy had none, in this episode alone, there was at least 4 or 5 just back to the Phantom Menace alone. It was awesome. But while Mando was up flying, Fennec showed up, and she's like, "Hey, you need a job?" And he's like, "What's it about?" And he's like, "Hey, Boba needs your help." And he's like, "Hey, it's on the house. I'll do it for free. But I gotta go visit a little friend of mine, Grogu." We might see in episode 6 Grogu and Luke Skywalker training Grogu. So say what you will about the first couple episodes of the Book of Boba Fett. By the way, I loved episode 2, loved episode 1, and loved episode 4. Episode 3 was a little iffy, but even still, say what you will about those episodes, episode 5 was a banger with Din Djarin all the way. But again, the Book of Din Djarin, this was not the Book of Boba Fett by any means, because Book of Boba Fett would need to have Boba Fett in it, right? But anyway, smash like on this video, hit subscribe, and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video, because like this episode, there's so many stuff that I can break down in bigger 10-minute videos rather than this, in just this breakdown. So I want to get into some crazy stuff like the pod race, like the Naboo cruiser, like the background on the Mandalorians and all that fun stuff. So hit subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss out on any of it. And may the Force be with you always.